The National Assembly has said its constitutional powers are unambiguous with regards to appropriation and has warned the executive that it will not be a rubber stamp for it. In separate plenary sessions, the Senate and House of Representatives considered points of privilege by lawmakers who queried alleged state sentiments by acting President Yemi Osinbajo that the National Assembly has no powers to introduce new projects to the budget before passing it. In the meantime, the acting president has declared open the 18th ordinary meeting of the ECOWAS Assembly of Health Ministers in Abuja, with health ministers of ECOWAS states and the Director General of the West African Health Organization in attendance. The ministers are urging member states to develop local capacity for vaccine production. The region has suffered a series of diseases outbreaks in recent times, including Ebola, that claimed dozens of lives. Data feeds are coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms, channelstv.com and on youtube.com/channelsweb. You can follow us right now on m.channelstv.com. We've got all our platforms and social media covered. Be part of the show. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. The Nigerian police force has paraded one Chukwudi Dumeme Onwamadike, aka Evans, the leader of a notorious kidnap gang behind many abductions that have instilled fear in Nigerians, making over ₦1 billion in the criminal act. He was arrested in Magodo Estate here in Lagos by the Joint Special Forces under the supervision of the Commissioner of Police. Now, does this signal a possible end to kidnapping? What happens to smaller kidnap cells? Will security forces catch up with perpetrators that remain defiant? We'll take a look at this much later in the show. It's prime time in Lagos, and this is State of the Nation. Welcome everyone in Nigeria and the rest of the world. I am Gimba Umar and this is State of the Nation. Right behind me, data feeds are still coming through in one place simultaneously on all our social media platforms. Tweet at Gimba Umar CTV and use the hashtag State of the Nation to air your thoughts on the subject. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo signed the 2017 appropriation bill into law 1 month after it was passed by the National Assembly. The President of the Senate, Dr. Bukola Saraki, and Speaker of the House of Representatives, Yakubu Dogara, joined the acting President at the Presidential Villa for the signing of the budget. All seemed to be well at the time, but that was soon to change when the acting President said passing the budget for 2017 was smoother than it was in 2016, with less wranglings between the executive and legislature. However, changes made by the lawmakers proved contentious. Let's begin with that. The Director General, Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Muda Yusuf, joins me. I do appreciate your coming to the show at this time. Let's look at what is happening. As a matter of fact, talking about the acting president, should he have signed the budget after discovering that changes were, as a matter of fact, effected in it?
Yes, I believe he should have signed. And it was a good thing that he signed. Because the indication I got from his statement was that there was already a very good understanding between the presidency and the leadership of the National Assembly. And if you already have that understanding, and of course they also belong to the same party, so I don't see anything wrong in his signing. In any case, we have lost a lot of time.
Okay, so now that he did discover that some things were included or excluded from it, would you liken that to padding, borrowing a leaf from Abdul Mumin Jibrin?
No, not exactly. What the National Assembly did, without holding brief for them, was to say that there were some very important projects, and they did highlight some of those projects in their presentation that needed to be part of the budget. I think in totality it amounted to about 143 billion naira. And they also said that because they reviewed the benchmark, the oil benchmark for the budget from $42.5 per barrel to $44.5 per barrel. That variation will be enough to cater for the additional sum, the increase in the budget. So it was on that basis that they added that. But having said that, you see, this controversy is becoming a recurring decimal in the budgetary process. Controversy with regard to the issue of padding in certain projects and all of that. I think at this stage, it is very important that we have a proper interpretation of the Constitution that defines the limits of the executive and the limits of the National Assembly as far as the budget is concerned. Particularly Section 80, subsection 4 of the Constitution, that says that no money can be spent from the Consolidated Revenue Fund unless as prescribed by the National Assembly. We need to understand clearly what that means.
But having said that from you, this is what the executive said. It looked at the views of the changes as fundamentally wrong and will affect some of its priority programs and would make implementation extremely difficult and in some cases practically impossible. But thank goodness that was resolved and we had the budget signed. How concerned should we be that the powers of the legislatures are this much when it comes to the budget? Should we be concerned that the powers of the legislature is just so much and has that much influence on the budget?
Well, the legislators are the representatives of the people. They have been voted from different constituencies across the country. We have over 400 from the House of Reps and about 95 or so from the Senate. So they are representatives of the people. Just as the president and the president is also a representative of the people. So, but the Constitution, because it's about the Constitution, it's about what the Constitution says. If the power of appropriation lies more with the National Assembly, so be it. But what is not clear now is exactly where does the power lie.